film begins with a breathtaking drone shot of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, setting the tone for what's to come. It unveils a high-stakes chase with police helicopters, patrol cars, and FBI agents in hot pursuit, all underscored by a tension-heightening soundscape. Their collective goal is to locate our protagonist, Ray Cooper. Ray finds himself in a heated conversation with a distressed FBI agent who is desperately trying to make him comply with her orders. However, instead of cooperating, he makes a daring leap off a building into the water below. Back in time to a serene forest scene where Ray Cooper enjoying precious moments with his family. Following this idyllic scene, we find Ray and his family in the emergency ward of a hospital. There, Ray's wife, Amanda Cooper, receives the devastating news that her cancer has returned, leaving her with very limited options to combat this terminal illness. Ray is later approached by a doctor who conveys the possibility of a treatment option for Amanda. This treatment is in the final stages of approval by the FDA and represents the only potential cure for her condition. However, the manufacturer of the drug, Bioprime, unexpectedly pulls it from the market, leaving Ray and Amanda in a state of despair. With no end in sight to Amanda's deteriorating condition, the market remains closed to patients, and her health continues to worsen. Upon learning this grim news, we are introduced to the CEO of Bioprime, Simon Keeley, during a news talk show. He's engaged in a heated discussion with Diana Morgan, a U.S. Congresswoman who has taken a firm stance against Bioprime due to their controversial business practices. The crux of their argument revolves around the exorbitant cost of medications, and it's in the midst of this debate that Ray Cooper joins the conversation as a caller. Ray emotionally reveals how his wife's life hangs in the balance because Bioprime pulled the drug sparrow from the market. He tells Mr. Keeley that if his wife doesn't make it, he will have essentially sealed his fate. As Amanda's life draws to a close, Ray and his daughter, Rachel, share their final moments with her as she takes her last breaths. Ray, consumed by grief, paces the hospital corridors, wailing and overcome by anguish. Meanwhile, Rachel tenderly sings Amanda's favorite childhood song, providing a poignant backdrop to this heart-wrenching scene. 6 months later, as Ray attempts to navigate his daily routine, he receives a pivotal phone call from a journalist named Martin Bennett. Martin informs Ray that justice may be within reach. He reveals that Simon Keeley has committed indictable offenses, potentially leading to his incarceration. Martin and Ray arrange to meet, and Ray follows Martin's detailed instructions, including which trains to take and where to disembark, as they inch closer to a possible turning point in their pursuit of justice. Following a man in a denim jacket, Martin Bennett, the secret informant, guides Rye to switch platforms and reach a specific train station. Unbeknownst to them, Rye's daughter secretly tails them. Bennett shares crucial intel, revealing Bioprime's corrupt dealings with offshore companies connected to Simon Keeley. A cap-wearing stranger suddenly attacks Bennett, stabbing him in the stomach. Rye's daughter intervenes, helping disarm the assailant. As Rye tries to aid his injured daughter, the attacker strikes again, throwing Rye through a glass window onto the platform. 2 years later, Rachel, Rye's daughter, undertakes combat training. Meanwhile, Congresswoman Diana Morgan and Simon Keeley unveil a bill aiming to provide affordable medication, hinting at their shady collaboration for personal gain. On the TV screen, Rye shares with his daughter his ongoing mission to dismantle Mr. Keeley and locate the person who attempted to take his life. The scene shifts to Keeley arriving at a venue, and Rye discreetly sneaking in wearing a cap to conceal his identity. He swipes a suit from the venue's back, changing to blend in. During Keeley's speech at the event, Rye accidentally spills whiskey on Keeley's pants, sending him to the bathroom with his security team. There, Rye incapacitates the guards and confronts Keeley about Martin Bennett's death and the bribery authorization. Keeley implicates Vad Shaw as the mastermind. In a fierce struggle, Ray accidentally shoots one of Keeley's security personnel. In the end, Ray takes Keeley's life. Back home, he instructs his daughter to pack, while at the scene, a security guard known as Mr. Ashbury deals with the aftermath. Under FBI agent Sarah Mears' questioning, Mr. Ashbury admits that the person who killed Mr. Keeley had previously threatened his life. The FBI identifies Rye as the one who issued the threat, keeping a keen eye out for any sign of him or his vehicle. Meanwhile, Rachel, Rye's daughter, phones Agent Meir from a payphone to assert that Mr. Keeley's death was accidental, attempting to challenge the FBI's narrative that her father is the murderer. Sarah tries to instruct Rachel to acquire a burner phone, but Rachel abruptly ends the call and enters a motel. Inside, Rye naps, unaware of approaching operatives. Startled by the doorbell, he wakes Rachel and, in a face-off, eludes an agent armed with an SMG. A fight ensues with stray shots fired. Rye prevails, tying a belt around his opponent and throwing him down the stairs. As he navigates the building, Rye confronts another operative, slamming him into a wall and using a screwdriver to his advantage. He eventually leaps out of a window, continuing their fight. Ray triumphs over the operative, dispatching him with a precise shot to the neck. Subsequently, the FBI conducts a house raid. While gazing at the Coopers' family photo, Agent Sarah is alerted by her colleague, confirming Ray as their prime suspect. New intelligence reveals Ray's vehicle leaving a motel 70 miles from his residence, coinciding with a double homicide. This hints that the assailants were not FBI agents, but associates of Bioprime seeking retribution for the late Simon Keeley. Meanwhile, a man resembling Martin Bennett's murderer browses cars at a dealership, leaving the store owner's jacket stained with blood. After stealing a car, he departs. Ray and his daughter find refuge in a snow-clad forest. Ray prepares for impending assailants, plotting their route. Rachel contacts Detective Sarah, alerting her to their pursuit. During the call, Rachel shares her relationship with her mother, while Sarah assures her she can influence her father. Her mother would have been proud of her actions. Meanwhile, Santos, the killer's name now revealed, assembles an explosive shotgun. Rye and his daughter depart from the forest, heading towards Vanage Shaw's mansion, the man believed to have influenced Simon Keeley to remove Sparrow from the market. They notice a lurking car in the shadows. Shaw leaves the mansion with a fleet of Chevrolet SUVs, but Ray obstructs their path, colliding with one of the vehicles using an excavator. Santos arrives from the other side, igniting the lead SUV with his explosive shotgun. The assassin retreats but is captured by Ray. Holding him at gunpoint, Ray presses for answers regarding Martin's murder. Before Santos can reveal anything, he fires a shot, killing Shaw. Ray and his daughter escape, but Santos fires 3 shots at them. They elude him. Rachel informs her father that the killer of Shaw is the same man who murdered Martin. Curious about why, Ray switches vehicles to stay low, but it doesn't work. While driving, he spots the assassin in a diner and calmly takes a seat beside him. The assassin reveals he was hired not by Shaw, but by a higher-up, tasked with eliminating anyone who could expose their corruption. Ray considers the implications of this revelation. The man faced 3 options: expose both of them to the FBI, go into hiding, or find the man's employer and eliminate them. Santos confesses that his employer is none other than Diana Morgan, the congresswoman who initially opposed Bioprime, but later engaged in corrupt dealings. She hired Santos to eliminate Rye, fearing his revelations about her senatorial misconduct and corruption. Ray and Rachel return to the city, but the FBI tracks their vehicle, initiating a hot pursuit. Ordered to stop, Ray transforms the city streets into a race course, but traffic barricades block their path. They abandon the car, fleeing on foot, leaving behind a baffled FBI. Ray navigates a crowd at an NFL game, pursued by agents. He reaches the stadium roof, illuminated by a hovering helicopter. Agent Sarah opens up to Ray, lamenting the unjust events in his life. Flashbacks reveal that the chaos following his wife's death wasn't caused by Ray, but by his daughter Rachel, who was in a trance-like state. As her father passes away in the ambulance, Rachel unexpectedly turns on the FBI agents attempting to assist her. Kicking one agent while lying on the stretcher, she elbows another as she rises, tearing off her neck brace. Her escape plan includes trying to run the ambulance off the road, ultimately causing it to overturn and setting her free. Subsequently, Rachel reclines on a bench, singing a comforting song from her mother's repertoire. Her heart-to-heart with her father reveals her sanity and her determination to bring the culprits to justice. Diana Morgan, in a press conference, vows to eradicate corruption from the intersection of business and politics. In the audience is Rachel, as well as the man who previously targeted her and killed her father. The scene shifts to Rachel exiting a yellow taxi and entering a building where Diana Morgan hosts an after-party following her press conference. Rachel breaches the office with a keycard and encounters Santos. In an attempted attack, Santos inadvertently kicks her out of a window, sending her back onto the scaffold she initially climbed. He fires a few shots as she retreats. Taking cover behind crates, Rachel disarms Santos, using her jacket in a clever maneuver. They both end up in a pool, both with knives in hand, initiating a deadly duel. Santos inflicts a painful wound on Rachel's forearm and dominates the fight, even attempting to strangle her underwater. Just when it seems like her last breath, her father's voice urges her to fight. Rachel manages to turn the tables, repeatedly stabbing Santos in the abdomen until he's lifeless in the pool, staining it red. Miraculously alive, Rachel returns to Diana's office. She threatens to expose Diana's corruption and attempts at manipulation, but Rachel strikes back, leaving Diana traumatized and calling for security. The FBI receives information about Rachel's presence at Diana Morgan's campaign headquarters. The revelation leaves the FBI puzzled about Rachel's motive for targeting a congresswoman. However, as Rachel shares a recorded interaction with Diana, the pieces of the puzzle fall into place. They uncover Diana's involvement in corrupt dealings with Bioprime to secure her election. Meanwhile, Rachel escapes the country on a plane, her father alongside her, musing in the background that the past resembles a dream, a mosaic of images and emotions, shedding light on the journey that brought them to this moment.